Uh, in this part, I want to talk about modern monetary theories, a notion that the government is a sole monopoly supplier of currency, and it needs to spend that currency before any tax revenue can be collected. So the idea is that government is the only authority which can create the medium of exchange. But how do you put that medium of exchange into circulation? And the answer is that you must spend it on something. That's not you know. Let's take an example. Let's say I conquer territory, and I want to pay my soldiers. Now, if I issue IOUs, Mr. Iyer will pay you X amount. What will they do? Answer is they'll kill me. They'll say, no, no, we signed up for gold or for something valuable. So I can't spend it into existence to maintain my power. I have to do something else. So, I have to, the currency, any currency I issue, it has to be something which which can be discounted immediately by some third party. In other words, there must be a market for that money, for that IOU. It must pre-exist. So the condition for a currency to come into circulation is not spending by the government. Government can spend. For example, the conqueror, he pays his troops, or the government pays its civil servants or its police officers, etc., with its own scrip. But if nobody will accept that scrip, the thing fails. And you may say, well, by law, you can force, say, legal tender. But then you have to go one step. Legal tender only means that you have to accept this in settlement of a debt. But if you don't transact with somebody, there is no debt, there is no relationship. So you have to have something else, which is where you're forced to sell at a fixed price. But why would you do that? So only if there's a threat of confiscation. So it basically comes down to confiscation. Uh, so, I mean, we're not really talking about economics. We're talking about beating people, grabbing their stuff. In which case, what matters is not monetary theory, but beating theory, killing theory, stabbing theory, stealing theory. Now, in the last segment, I spoke briefly about disintermediation. Now, what happens is that if the government is shit, so the treasury bills are shit, you know that they're going to lose value. If banks are shit, because basically they're forced by the government to hold treasury bills, and treasury bills are, keep losing value. So, in order to attract depositors, they're going to have to offer a higher interest rate because the quality of the product of what they have is poor. So, there'll be, but for purely prudential reasons, and ultimately, when it comes to money, when it comes to wealth, you have to remember that you can't have an expected utility maximization approach. You have to have a regret minimizing approach. Why? Because of night in uncertainty, because there is no probability distribution accessible regarding future states of the world. And also, most of the actual future state of the world it's not just unknown, it's unknowable. Because you have radical uncertainty, which defeats rational expectations. So the rational expectations actually, in other words, the mathematics is that because of the very high degree of impredicativity for rational expectations, for most rational expectations, there is no solution. The solution is that there is complete. It's chaotic. It's chaotic. That's the solution. In fact, that turns out to be a good thing. It's volatility which drives liquidity. It is creative destruction which keeps financial markets in existence. So Arrow Dobrew securities, yes, which ignore 19 uncertainty, yes, they are weapons of financial mass destruction. Quite true. But mass destruction is good. It's like those huge big prairie fires or huge big forest fires in North America in the old days, which were absolutely essential to maintain the ecology. This is creative destruction when it is applied to human beings because we're a little bit creative. This is Schumpeterian. But even with trees, shakeouts, fire sales, big fires, it's part of the ecology. Now, you may ask, uh, you may ask me, Vivek, why are you so much against modern monetary theory? And the answer is, if these nutters ever get policy influence, in the same way as those bloody crazy nutters behind the diversity, inclusivity, equity, transgender, this and that, decolonize, send the white people in England back to fucking, Syria, where they come from the Levant. England, Europe belongs to the Neanderthals. All these white people are settlers. But if so, Asians are even worse. And Africans have very little of this Neanderthal and Denisovan than anybody else. So, this kind of talk about settlers, it's deeply unsettling to me. Still, you may say, Vivek, there are so many crap economists, and there's why focus on this type of crackpot uh, economics? Even MMT, as far as I know, there's one or two, Stephen Keel, one or two nutters who are professors at like shithole universities, not even red brick. This is white tile, as we say. I think that was Look Back in Anger. I think that's from the 1950s. The university I went to wasn't red brick; it was white tile. It's a good put down from Look Back in Anger from 1957 or whatever. So why am I getting excited about it? And the answer is I'm 62. I'm worried about my old age. If you monkey around with finances, if you do what Quanting and Distrust tried to do, and what happened? It isn't as though the market rebelled. It's just that the market went, we fucked. Why? It's because of the way pension funds, what they've been doing. Suddenly they have to do something new. I think, there's limited room for maneuver. So my point about MMT is that I'm against it because it will literally steal the shirt off my fucking back, mate. That's why it's shit. And disintermediation, that's all to the good. That's where if the government is shit, banks are shit, financial sector is shit, doesn't matter. Whoever is expected to do well and to produce assets which keep their value, and if that is a rational expectation, so long as it's a rational expectation, even if the outcome is unknown, that's good enough. You'll get disintermediation. Money basically will be endogenous. It's Caldor. It's good old Nicky Caldor. Gorgeous, pouting Nicky, as I used to say, which I didn't. I'm very old. Anyway, so shirt off your back. The whole point of this series of videos is that, I kept it. Okay? Oh, right. Yeah, you want to see more of the nipple. And there we must leave the sad story of modern monetary theory. Good night and a very Merry Christmas.